And so we want to bring in Jack Tumor, who is a former ECK commissioner, joining us from our City Centre studio. Thank you so much for joining us, Jack, on News Centre. Now, will we see aspirants follow through with this law? Already, as you've heard there, there are quarters that are already against it.
I can't get her. Sorry, I can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
great. Thank you so much for joining us on News Centre. Now, let's talk about this law that, brings an end to Harambees. Will we see aspirants really follow through on it? And as you've heard there, I mean, there are already quarters that are, seriously against it.
There are two laws. There was one which was acted in 2013. That has been in our law books. I think what is bringing problems is the regulations which were drafted by IABC, sent to Parliament for discussion. The Parliament has not discussed those regulations, and apparently IABC is keen to have them enforced. I don't understand how IABC can enforce the laws that have not been approved by Parliament. Given that, if IABC had this regulation, and even if they were to be approved by the Parliament, I think in pursuing a free and fair elections, we would have liked a situation where IABC educates wananchi so that they know these regulations are coming, put structures in place. For example, I'm told they were dishing out forms yesterday. Are there structures in the districts, in the counties, so that the people who don't know can obtain these forms and give them out? So there is a lack of voter education, something like that. But I think what is most important is that the laws, when the regulations, when they are made by an institution, IABC included, they need to be approved by Parliament before they are enforced.
All right, but do you feel that IABC has a lot on their plates, and even talking about, how much aspirants can spend in the campaigns, are they really likely to follow through with the aspirants? There are many thousands actually of them. IABC, first of all, is a shadow of what it's supposed to be right now. Do you feel that the IABC has a lot on its hands right now to effect this?
I think IABC has got more than what it can afford to do. As I say, it doesn't have the structures in place. It is only the Secretariat which is operating. The commissioners are yet to be appointed. So it is half-legged. And adding extra responsibilities like this is just making the work very difficult for themselves.
All right. And do you feel that, once these Harambees come to an end, if indeed they will, because like you mentioned also, there are regulations which are supposed to be put in place. Do you think, like you're saying, that voters will be able to see these aspirants for who they really are without the money being handed over to them to lure them in?
We're talking about two things. The Harambees is an old regulation, and they're supposed to be effected. I think anybody who wants to be elected, either governor, MCA, president, should have known this regulation because they have been with us for quite some time. What is in dispute is the regulation as opposed to the laws which were enacted in 2011.
All right. Let's also now talk about another issue that is to do with the 2017 election. And today is also the deadline that the IABC should be getting the technology that to be used next year. And that, of course, is not in place. Are we setting ourselves up for some failures that we witnessed in 2013?
We are setting ourselves for very big problems. One of my fears is that IABC had its program set up, I think, in January this year. But it is because of the problems that we had in between that IABC had now to revise the program as it was given out, I think, the day before yesterday. IABC is quite congested. And talking of procurement, that is a mammoth task. To date, not very much has been done. It appears that we are setting up laws which are not going to be affected, and that is not a very healthy situation. I think we should set up laws which we know can be affected. When the parliamentary group set up these timelines, one wishes that they were effected as the parliamentary group required. But we have been procrastinating for such a long time the enactment of the law itself, the appointment of the commissioners, all those affected the timelines of IABC. And right now we are operating late. As I say, IABC is quite congested. We have added an extra responsibility, which is to me mammoth, the nomination of candidates by political parties given to IABC.
All right.
If this is going to be effected, I really don't know how. I don't see how it is going to be done because that is a mammoth assignment. That's another general elections. I wish and I could recommend very, very strongly that the parties which are going to ask IBC to run their nomination reconsider that position so that they do run the nomination themselves and leave IBC with this congested program. It is not a normal, we are not operating under normal circumstances. We are operating late and everybody knows it. If we want free, fair elections, let's give IABC some free will, some time, so that it can organize itself.
What does that mean? What does giving IABC time mean? Is it postponement of the elections? What does that exactly mean?
Postponement of election is out of question. I'm talking about these extra assignments that are being given to IABC by political parties. I'm talking about the pressure that is seemingly going to IABC from various quarters, political parties not included. I've said it and I want to repeat that if IABC is an independent commission, let it be given room to operate. But it's going to be very difficult if it has all the time to look over its shoulder to know whether what they do is going to be accepted by this group or the other group.
But
yeah.
But finally, Jack, I mean, you know, the Secretariat has said that, you know, it has everything handled. Is that PR?
Well, on paper, yes. But I really don't see them effecting what they have put down the program unless I don't know what is going to happen. Because you take something like procurement. They have a program on what to get and when. We know the problems of procurement. They may advertise, people apply. When they approve, people go to court to challenge this and the other. And these are all likely to cause a lot of delays. And we expect it because we have seen it happen in this country. So it is not something you can take for granted. Timelines, yes. On paper, IABC has put down what it's supposed to do. But I'm afraid if they are not given free will, it is going to be problematic.
All right, thank you very much, Jack Tumwa, who is a former ECK commissioner, speaking to us on a range of issues in regards to the 2017 general elections. All right, let's now move on and